Hello, viewers. This is Open-Minded, and I have my guest here with me, and her name is Goddess Aayannä. And today on my show, we're going to discuss how we vibe in our chemistry with the air signs. And I'm going to start with the youngest air sign, which is Gemini. Let's see, it's not letting me change it. So we gotta keep. Where's the menu for it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. We gotta start all over again. Hello, viewers. This is Open-Minded, and here on my channel, I have a special guest, and her name is Goddess Aayannä. And today, we're going to talk about how we view in our chemistry with the air signs. So we're going to give our personal perception of how our chemistry is with each air sign. And I'm going to start off with the youngest air sign, which is Gemini. Now, Gemini, like I said, is the youngest air sign. They rule over Mercury, and Mercury rules over communication. So yes, Geminis love to talk. What I like the most about Gemini is the versatility I get with them. Like, they could talk about any subject and just, it's like a pleasant conversation. I definitely get my mental stimulation when I'm with Gemini. They are an air sign, so they are everywhere. Like, they like to go to their social gatherings. They love their friends. And what else? Like, they're very like trendy. I like to say they're popular. Like, they're really popular, trendy people. Yeah. They rule over the twins. So you get someone who's very dual-minded or multiple personalities, which, you know, they have a history of being two-faced. But, you know, for me as a fire sign, it keeps me stimulated. It keeps me on my toes. Like, I don't know who I'm going to get next. But yeah, that's how I view Geminis. Geminis are one of my good friends. The only thing that I don't like about them is I know that they don't have morals. So I know that they'll switch up on me and they'll end up doing something, you know, like something out of the blue. And I'm just like, what happened? And they're like, oh, they'll just, I don't know what they'll do. Like, they'll act like they never did it or tell a story. Like, Geminis are mischievous. They're mischievous. Stories. Yeah, they're mischievous, so they don't mind, like, lying and stealing here and there. Like, they don't mind bending the rules because their whole thing is to be ahead of the crowd. I mean, how do you feel about that, Aayannä, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, so, Gemini is definitely a fun sign. I definitely, like, love Geminis, and they're definitely, intellectually stimulating. Geminis are the type of people that really don't have, long attention spans there, which is why they're so versatile and so well versed in things, because they go from one thing to the next. So they know a little bit about a lot of things. Like you said earlier, when we were conversating, the Gemini is the jack of all trades.
They definitely are. You know, you're an Aquarius, so of course you love Geminis. So we're gonna, yeah, like, that's like your soulmate. But we're gonna move on to the second air sign, which is the beautiful and balanced Libra. Now, my perception of Libra, because they're my opposite sign, they are like, Aries is rash, aggressive, immediate. We want everything now. And you have Libra, who is charming. They're very classy people. They can't make a decision. So I'm like, now urgency, and they're just like, they're trying to figure out what's best for everybody. And I can see how that aggravates people, but I feel like they definitely make up for it because they're so charming. Like, they're so easy to talk to. They could definitely sweep you off your feet with their words. They rule Venus, and Venus is the love planet. So people under Venus, they like artwork, they like beauty. I have a Libra midheaven, so often on the internet, I come across as a very fair and balanced, harmonious person, but, you know, I'm actually the opposite of that. So yeah, like, my favorite singer, Maya's a Libra, Usher's a Libra. I'm really surprised that Eminem's a Libra. I'm really surprised because he is so, like, negative and so, like, bashing everybody. So I don't know how that ended up happening. But how do you feel about Libras?
Well, I love Libras. Libras are very charming, but like you said about the negativity, where they are on the chart, they begin the fall. So it's the fall of the sun, which is can be kind of a sad thing. The sun is falling to its death, right? So Libras always have, like, this tinge of sadness to them. They have this just like a little bit of depth, you know, to them. But yeah, Libras, I love talking to Libras. They're they're very charming. Like Libra men, like I can tell Libra men pretty easily because they're the ones that come off like suave, debonair. Like I'm like, oh, you must be a Libra.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Libras. Libras are definitely definitely indecisive, like you said, but they're very nice people, very caring. You know, they always need that partner since they rule
Right.
partnerships.
Yeah, like I forgot to mention how they're the only sign that's an inanimate object. They're the scale, so they're constantly trying to find their other half to be balanced.
Right,
so that
right.
explains their indecisiveness and them feeling unbalanced, which is like so funny because I'm the self. I'm like 1 and they're like 2. Like it makes perfect sense. But yeah, they're great mediators. Like, you know, they're all about being fair. So we're going to move on to the last air sign, which is also my favorite sign, and also what the beautiful goddess Aayannä is, Aquarius. Now, basically, I could talk about Aquarius all day, just because my mom's an Aquarius. Most of my ex-boyfriends are Aquariuses. And Aquarius, in a nutshell, is you're going to get an innovative sign. You're going to get a sign that's all about progression, and you're going to get a sign that's all about humanity. So their loyalty is to society and changing society as a whole. Aquariuses are a detached sign, so they could deal with groups of people without getting messy. Like they could deal with groups of people and not get jealous and not just keep their calmness and their composure and think intellectually. Like this is a sign that's all into their head. Like they have all these wild ideas going on into their head. And that explains why, that explains why Aayannä is like such a strong Black activist, and she's worried about us African Americans, or I'm not sure if you like that word, working together as a whole to change society. Like that's what their focus is on. What I don't like about Aquariuses in relationships is they're too detached for me. They're too unpredictable. Y'all really unpredictable. Like I literally do not know what they're gonna do the next moment, and it's about everything. It's just like, dude, like get it together. Like it's so hard for me to like schedule things with you. Not you've been good so far, but the Aquarius guys that I've dated, I'm like, oh my gosh, like how am I supposed to follow you or keep track with you? But that, and what else about them? Just that and how detached, like they seriously would like treat you the same as a stranger. So you don't really feel you don't feel special like when you date one. Like you feel like you're just a girl in the crowd, you know? So to me, I'm a loner sign. So my sign's always by itself, so I could kind of handle it. But besides that, like I love Aquarius. Like definitely my favorite. So what you think about Aquarius?
I just think we're awesome. No, let me stop. But yeah, we are very detached. But like I was telling you earlier, like I think one of the things that makes us so detached is because when we were younger, we experienced things that made us feel in such ways. Also, when we were younger, when Aquariuses are young, we feel like the outcast of the family. Oftentimes, we feel like an outcast of the family, and so that in itself brings on a lot of emotional issues for a child. And so as a child, I think Aquariuses, we kind of learn to like, well, since I'm like this, I'm just not going to feel it anymore, you know? And so we kind of learn how to completely detach ourselves, and we carry that on later on in life. But yeah, I think Aquarius is like, you know, we're very talkative. Like we love a good conversation.
Yeah, you guys are social butterflies.
Yeah, Aquarius can definitely end up neglecting if they're not balanced, can definitely end up neglecting their relationship for their friends. And like you were saying, you know, that's something that Aquariuses have to work on.
Yeah.
But yeah, like
they're geniuses. They're considered the genius sign, but because they're such a contradiction, like Aquariuses is also like one thing and another. So even though they're the genius sign, they're also like the sign that's more than likely to be in the nut house. So it's like they're always something and something else. Like all of them are like that. Like who else? I'm trying to think. Like Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan's an Aquarius. He's such a legend, and he don't even like Black people. Like how you gonna be like in like someone you like Black people look up to, and you don't even like your own people? Like that's such an Aquarius, like, I mean, that's not a good example, but that's like an Aquarius for you. Like, they're like a paradox. They're like a complete contradiction. Like, they love everyone, but then they're detached.
Like,
go ahead.
Like, one thing about Aquarius, like you're saying, the paradox, like a contradiction. Like, Aquarius is, we love lots of friends, but we are not good one-on-one. Like you were saying earlier, we're like, it gets really awkward. Like, if I have to have like several people, because if it's just me and someone else, I'm not saying like it's just completely awkward, but it has a tendency to get awkward because like I function the best when I'm like, okay, here, here, you know, I'm like random here. Like when, like I have people over here earlier, and I was talking to you and them, and like I'm just bouncing around. Like that's when I feel like the most like at home. Like when I'm just bouncing from
that's why you guys are always with groups of people. Like I feel like I lose myself. I'm attending to so much people. I'm like, I'm not centered. Like, what am I going to do? And me being the self, I'm like afraid of that. Like, that's a big fear. It's like, wait, I can't put your needs before me, and I lash out, because that for me as the self is just like, how dare you make me do that? You know, like, it's because my identity is strong. Like, your identity is strong with Aries. Like, that's why we're such passionate people, is because we have a purpose, we feel like, and we project it through ourselves. Like, it's hard. Like, lots of fury and stuff from an Aries. We're like crazy, but I mean, that's I said, Aquarius has balanced me out, because I'm centered. There are groups, so we could like function without really like bumping heads, because we're doing the opposite things. So yeah, that's quirky, kinky, intellectual Aquarius for you. So now we're gonna we have like 4 minutes to talk about a little bit of the fire signs. So we're gonna start off with Aries, the first zodiac sign, which is me. Aries, let's see, I could talk all day about Aries because I'm an Aries. Aries is the first zodiac sign, so us being the first zodiac sign represents so many things. It means that we're independent, means that we're competitive, like we feel comfortable being at the #1 spotlight, and it also means that we're the youngest sign. Aries represents the years 1 to 7. So Aries has a me attitude. We're very immature, and we're always thinking about ourselves. But we're the sign of selves. So what do you expect? Seriously. If you don't expect an Aries to be concerned with themselves or war, you shouldn't talk to Aries, because that's what their sign's all about. But I don't want people to, this is why I don't like talking about Aries, because people think that Aries is a negative sign. Because when you think of war, you think of like, you know, war, like fighting and battles, and it is like that. But Aries is about war, like how a warrior is about war, or a knight. Like a knight has armor and he fights, but underneath his heart is good. His heart is for the people. Aries are noble people. Like Mars is a no BS planet. So even though Aries is like passionate and aggressive, but underneath that we're fighting for a good cause. Like we're very strong, and we're like the fire sign. So when we're fighting, it comes across like a war-like mentality, but underneath that all, Aries are still children. If you want to think of an Aries, think of like a badass little kid, like a little kid who just bad, but they're still kids. Like, you know, they just Aries needs reinforcement, because we're such a dangerous, hazardous sign. Like we're accident prone. We're very dangerous. We're attracted to danger, but at the same time, like, we're also very we also have good leadership skills. So yeah, when you're with the Aries and you're like, this person is just like all about them, aggressive, in your face, because we could be like that if we don't have enough space and we're not centered. If we're not centered, we can't think about you. It's like, how can I care about how you feel if I feel like crap? So when we come attacking you, it's like, no offense, but we got to pull ourselves together. It's like, once we pull ourselves together, we'll be nice, we'll be, you know, enthusiastic, we'll go on adventures, we'll be interesting. Like Aries are so interesting, but because we're the self, we got to make sure that we're okay, and that's the only thing that matters first. So once we're okay, then we could do other things. But that's just like an Aries in a nutshell. How do you feel about Aries, Miss Goddess?
I love Aries. Matter of fact, my son's an Aries. So yeah, when you say running around,
that's us.
Like, the energy on Aries is like on 100. Like, I love that though. Like, they have a lot of positive energy, and that's what it is. They have so much energy to give out. Like, they're constantly giving out the energy or whatever, and that's awesome.
We're vibrant. We're vibrant.
Very vibrant. And then that's the springtime. Y'all bring in the spring. So it's lots of like springy, like positive energy. I think Aries is a very positive sign, even though it can be a little bit